Hey everybody, I just want to do a quick video today. I'm looking at some new equalizers. I love the equalizers that we have in Logic and the stock plugins, but I'm always looking for some tools which can do some things which Logic can't do. And there's two that I want to just briefly look at today that I've been really looking at more seriously recently, partially because they're not like incredibly expensive, but they are a little bit different in even the pricing. So we have the FAST Equaliser, which is part of the collective, which is part of Focusrite. You know, Focusrite from interfaces and mic pre's and things like that. And then we have this kind of what I consider a newer newcomer to the whole thing, because I haven't really heard much about them from Baby Audio. And they have this thing called Smooth Operator. And so these two things caught my eye recently, and I'm going to explain a little bit about them. First, let's look at the FAST Equalizer. We're going to do this with the drum loop with the Logic drummer. And right now I've got this one turned on. So let's turn on the FAST Equalizer. And you're going to see really quickly that this does something that, like, for instance, Logic doesn't do. This has some AI integrated with it. And so it's looking at things a little differently. We're going to start by choosing a preset. This is drums. Then I'm going to push learn while I'm playing the drums. Automatically puts a curve up there for me. And so this is the AI part. It analyzes what you have and it gives you some options. This is an amazing tool for anyone who doesn't really know much about equalization, right? So you can see, oh, it labeled something here as snap. I want more of that. Let's get rid of some of that knock. Push up the punch. And in fact, we could just do more with the intensity here, pulling that up to 150% or down. We can brighten up the whole thing with the bright key or warm it up or go into detailed mode. So essentially, this is called Fast EQ because it gives you so much. It's bringing stuff to the table. It automatically does a curve for you, and it gives you little sliders and tells you what you're looking at here for the different parts of it. It doesn't have every instrument in this area, but it has a ton, and it's really useful. Especially if you're new to equalization, this is a great way to be able to easily or more easily get to where you're going. The catch with this, I'm in demo mode right now. The catch with this is that it's a subscription model. It's like $4 or $5 a month. You can't just outright buy it, as far as I could tell. For me, if I'm going to use it, great. It's like it's like a school almost, teaching you how to EQ. They have other ones that are in the same vein, like a compressor and things. That's fine. I don't think everyone's going to be into the subscription model. From what I've seen online, tons of people already hate subscription models for things. And so, that's fine. But look at this tool. It does something that Logic doesn't do. It brings something to the table in terms of equalization that we don't get any other way. With the Logic EQ, can we get the same results? Yes. But it won't be quite as intelligent. It won't bring stuff. Even the match EQ doesn't give suggestions on where things are with the sounds, etc. That's fine. Let's turn that off for a second. Now, this caught my eye this week as well because it has a similar kind of twist on EQ, but in a very different direction. And so this combines a compressor with an equalizer, with what they're calling a resonance suppressor. I think that's kind of like what we'd have, maybe in a live situation or anytime we have like a de-esser or something like that. So it's combining a bunch of different tools into one super simple interface. And so we can do this thing with the contour of the frequencies, We can adjust the overall, what's happening with a threshold, with a compression, and it's doing it at those different focus points. And we have a focus slider to do the amount. This is going to be complicated, even though it's so simple, because it's doing so much. So let me just play a couple things with you for you here. And let's reload the drum bus one. And I'll push play. And I'm going to do a couple things. One is I'm going to adjust the threshold very first, so you can hear it working more or less. You might have noticed when I go over one of the little nodes here, it just solos that out. That's because I have the solo turned on. That's one of my favorite features. It's so nice to just hover and hear what each one of those is doing, and it makes it super easy to work with. So this is not a tool that I'm going to be using to do like surgical edits or surgical spectrum changes. This is something I'm going to use creatively to come up with a sound that it's hard to come up with in other ways. Even though we have like the mix bus on here, which you'd think means you could use this on the master, and you can for sure. But really, I find myself using this most on individual pieces of the mix, and usually during the production phase rather than the mix phase. But we can do things. There's like certain ones here, the crushed drums tightener for the presets. And I find that I'm getting, especially when I'm using the drummer here without using the producer kit with all the actual individual kit pieces out. If I just want to do just the basic drummer and put an effect on there, then this is going to get me a lot closer in some ways. Let's check out the drums in the softer section.
Right away, I heard you say, time to go. How would you know? So stop it now, before it grows. The time is short, because it knows. Right away.
So then you can see what the activity is happening at the top here in this interface. So very different. This is going to be a creative tool that I'm going to use to really get interesting sounds and new ways of looking at things inside this one interface, which can do compression, equalization. It's analyzing as it goes, and then changing the frequency spectrum on the fly. They say, 44,100 times a second. And so this is something that's actually doing quite a bit under the hood, even though it has a very simple interface. So we get to draw this spectrum that we want, and it's going to take the input signal and create the output signal at the same time as compressing it and doing this, the resonance suppression. It's doing a lot. This is one that's taken me a little bit more time to get used to, because it's so different than anything that I've seen before. But I love the sounds that are coming out, because it sounds that I like, that I'm getting easier with this one instead of having to really work for it. Okay, two pretty different equalizer type tools, spectrum tools. And I think that both have their uses. This one, let's pull it up real quick on their website. I don't, neither one of these, I'm not like getting paid to actually talk about this. I'm not like sponsored or anything in this case by them, but I do think that they're worth talking about. This one, I just looked at their website here, is $39. So it's really cheap. It's an introduction sale right now. It's regular at $70, but they have. I was looking through their stuff. They have some other really interesting effects, and I don't know if they say how long they've been around here, but they certainly have some people using it, and it's a cool company from all accounts, and they're doing something that not everybody's doing. So check it out, and if you're interested, look up their websites. I don't have a link, or I'm not sponsoring their actual purchases or anything like that. So go look them up. They're Baby Audio, and the other one is Focusrite. So both pretty easy to remember. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this little look at a couple things outside of Logic, but that add to the Logic toolkit. And I will do another video soon.